medicine.
Lena?
Hi, I'm Lena Alvarez, and I'm the Assistant Director of Outreach and Admissions, as well as the Chief Diversity Officer.
Manisha?
Hi, everybody. I'm Manisha. I'm the Assistant Director over at HPA.
And looks like Brielle.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brielle. I'm a pre-health advisor here at HPA. I advise for all health professions, and I'll be helping out in the Q&A today. So if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat.
Doug?
Hello, I'm Doug McLemore. I am a staff advisor and test prep specialist with the HPA, and I will likewise be helping out with Q&A in the chat.
Elizabeth?
Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth Barajas. I'm also a staff advisor for HPA, and I often help students with their writing for their applications.
Sophie?
Hi everyone, my name is Sophie. I'm an academic advisor for the College of Biological Sciences, and I advise for 3 majors in our college, which include biological sciences, plant biology, and evolution, ecology, and biodiversity.
And Trisha? Or Elvira?
Hi, I'm Elvira Hack, and I'm the academic advisor for animal biology, and I am filling in for the the global disease biology academic advisor and entomology academic advisor.
All right. Trisha, are you there? She probably stepped away because it wasn't her time to speak. So we'll have a lot of other people joining us tonight. I just wanted to kill some time while we waited for some more folks to join us, but we will go ahead and kick it off if everybody is ready. So welcome everybody. This is our 3rd or 4th annual pre-vet orientation. Now I've lost track of years. We're really excited to have you here. Actually, that year should say 2020 pre-vet orientation. We have not lost that. We've not lost a year. It feels like we have, but we're really excited to have you here tonight. We started orientations a few years ago because we found that a lot of people were coming in to UC Davis, and I'm sure similar to how you feel, it's really overwhelming. There's a lot that you're taking in all of a sudden, being a new college student, being at UC Davis for the first time. You're trying to navigate a really challenging quarter system. You're trying to figure out normally a really big campus, but now you all have a much harder task trying to do college from home, from your computers, and do it online. So that's huge. And so we know that just the idea of becoming a vet, the process of navigating this really complicated journey is overwhelming to first years and incoming transfers and everybody. And so we thought that it'd be a really great idea to start the year off with a really big overview of all of the resources that you have available to you. And so we brought in tonight representatives from both the vet school. We have vet students coming to talk to you. We have advisors from numerous colleges and different departments, advisors that many of you will be seeing as you make your academic plans. We have the ICC, the Internship and Career Center. I'll be talking to you in just a bit about the services Health Professions Advising offers you, and more. So we're going to try to keep this fast and upbeat because we know that it's a long time to sit at a computer screen and listen to people. We will have a short break with a Kahoot, so that'll be fun for you. But we really want to keep this moving fast so that you're engaged the whole time. But we also want to give you a lot of information so that you don't feel quite as overwhelmed coming out of starting your program, starting your college career as a pre-vet. So we are going to manage the Q&A all night. Please feel free to post any questions that you have, and we have a lot of people who are able to answer questions there. You have a lot of experts here tonight who can help get your questions answered. So anything at all that you're wondering about, whether it's, should I take Math 16 or 17, or when should I really start worrying about pre-vet experiences, anything at all, post them in the Q&A, and we will try to knock all those out tonight. So without further ado, let me share with you real quick the agenda for the night. We are going to start with a really amazing person. I think you're going to enjoy hearing him. He already introduced himself. Dr. Carl Jandry is going to kick us off tonight with our opening talk. So I will stop sharing so Dr. Jandry can take the stage.
Thank you, Joanne, and thanks again for inviting our group. Brandy, Lena, and I are the admissions and outreach team at the School of Veterinary Medicine, and we certainly are always really happy to talk to everybody. I know one of the best points of contact when you are new students and coming to UC Davis, or you're not a new student and you've been here for a few years and you're like changing your mind. Maybe you were going to go to med school or nursing school and you're changing to vet school in your third or maybe in your fourth year is your path. Health Professions Advising is a great point of contact. They certainly can help you turn on a dime if you're moving from one health profession to another, or if you're just stumbling upon a health profession and you need some advice, a good place to contact. That's your first point of contact. Would be another point of contact here at the vet school. From what we do is we work together quite a bit to make sure that the messages are current and they are the best ones that we have at the time to get your messages, your questions answered. So from my perspective as the Associate Dean for Admissions and Student Programs, we have a pretty daunting task in front of us to find the best people that match with our mission and vision for the school, as well as into the profession of veterinary medicine. And we're looking for those people who have those qualities that make it perfection to be a professional and to be someone in your community who's going to be fixing your community, not just animals, but people and the health of the environment. It's all a mix. It's what we would consider the One Health trifecta of what veterinarians do. You might think this is a people job. You might think this is an animal job. It's kind of all of that. And that's what's kind of fascinating about being a veterinarian. I'm actually not a UC Davis grad. I went to Ohio State for undergrad and for veterinary school because I was an Ohio resident. It totally just made sense to stay in my home state, to go to my home state's veterinary school, because that's where the best financial success happens. If you have an in-state school, it's usually best to apply to your in-state school because they're going to have usually the lowest price for an in-state student. If you're all Californians, fantastic. You have two choices. You have the public university, that's us. You have the private university, that's Western Down South. So you have two opportunities in your home state. But we're the only ones that have in-state tuition because we are the state's school. Financial things aside, your journey is going to be a challenging one. I think you've already known this because it's something that everyone that's here interested to go to veterinary school has already probably started. To some degree, you've already started your interest in veterinary medicine. Maybe been when you were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Maybe it was 5 or 6, 7, 8 months ago. But you've already started your plan. You've already started your path to veterinary medicine. And I gotta wonder what makes veterinary medicine the career or the profession of your choosing. We call it a profession because it truly is more than just a career. It's kind of, you own it. You walk, you breathe veterinary medicine. Your life and your profession are integrated into everything you do. Because when you're on a plane and when you get to go on a plane and you say, sit next to someone and they wonder, hey, what do you do? They start up a small conversation. You tell them a veterinarian, then you just opened up 3 hours of discussion because people want to dig deeper into that because at one point in their life, they probably wanted to be a veterinarian too. Why did that happen? Like, why do so many people want to be veterinarians and why does it happen that not everybody can get into veterinary school? Well, there's only a limited number of seats, of course, but there are a growing number of veterinary schools around the world and a lot of growing accredited veterinary schools. So we are not your only choice. And just remember that. Maybe it's not the plan that Davis is going to be the place that you end up in vet school. But if you have the right stuff, you're going to get into vet school. If you have the right vision, the right dream, and the right attack of this, I think you're going to be really pleased with yourself. Let's get back to your journey. You've started it already. You've planned well, and you continue to plan. You continue to lean on your advisors, your counselors, your peers, your professional mentors to ask, what does it take? You know, that's a really hard question because a lot of you are probably sitting there saying, what does it take to be a veterinarian? I mean, it's actually hard to answer because there's so many different things that actually go into being a professional. I think the first and foremost thing I'm going to give to you tonight is just to say, it's hard, but everything hard is really going to be worthwhile, and everything hard has an unanticipated, amazing path. It's going to be better than you anticipate. Veterinary medicine was the thing I only really ever wanted to do. I never had a different profession that I was really targeting. I was lucky to make it. That's really, really great, but I'm glad I'm here because everything I've done in veterinary medicine has been certainly challenging, but certainly rewarding. It gives me the drive to get up at 5 o'clock every morning to continue to do the work that I do and really hit it hard every day, because there's nothing that really drags me down. It's a profession that only lifts me up. The things that I get to do every day are really amazing. Like, I have this privilege that I get to work with great people. I get to work with great animals. I get to do great science. I get to do great education to my students, my trainees, and also to my clients, the animal owning public. I also now am in the role of an administrator, and this is something I've never really thought that I had the chops to do, but when it comes down to being a prepared veterinarian and a professional that exits veterinary school, you'd be quite amazed at the leadership skills that you have already developed in the process of becoming a veterinarian. So when you don't think you're going to be an administrator or a leader, don't be surprised when people come and ask you to take on those roles, because you have already established the fact that you are a leader in your community by becoming a professional. And the professionals that really are, I think, the go-to people, the ones that have really great connection with people, that can find an avenue of similarities, that's the veterinarians. I think that's why everyone wants to be a veterinarian. I think that's why they're excited when you tell them you're a veterinarian on the airplane, that they have hours of endless conversations and they dive deep into, what do you do and how does that work, and tell me more and give me a great story. It's really great. You're really wanting to have a nice quiet plane flight, but the next thing you know, you're getting a fantastic conversation with someone you never ever would have met, and the door was veterinary medicine that got you into this great conversation, and you walk away with another great experience, all because of the profession. I get to do many different things at the university, and my path was not clear. Like, I was never going to be an administrator at a veterinary school. That was not really my job. I thought I was going to be a specialty practicing veterinarian. In fact, I thought I was going to be an ophthalmologist. But I told you before, I'm now an emergency and critical care specialist. I told you before I was from Ohio. I was figuring I was going to stay in Ohio, but I made it to the West Coast and I never really left. So that was another path that veterinary medicine brought to my opportunity. And that is something that I was not anticipating when I was sitting in the seats that you're sitting in right now. I was actually doing all I could do to be as great as I could, to do advancement through the profession and to take a residency and to pass my board exams and do all these other great things. But in the process of doing all those things, I made I didn't make it, but the world of veterinary medicine opened up in front of me, and opportunities in different areas presented themselves. And I took the chance on those opportunities, and those opportunities were not part of my initial plan, but amazingly enough, that plan B turned out to be better, and I'm doing crazy good things and amazing things that I never anticipated I'd be doing. So I would have to say that veterinary medicine is a degree that opens doors and opens opportunities, and it's really uncanny how many options there are within the profession itself. I can imagine that many of you right now are drilled into veterinary medicine as a, say, small animal practice, general practice, maybe in a small town, rural, suburban area. That is probably where you've come from. And that's probably your window on veterinary medicine. That's what you think of veterinarians when you envision yourself in that role in the future. I would have to say that you got to think a bit more broadly about that, because veterinary medicine is a degree that gets you into the world of veterinary medicine, but the opportunities that open up are tremendous. They're research, they're animal species you never anticipated to ever see. They are educational opportunities. There's education. You can become an educator and you can actually teach the next wave of veterinarians. You can work in industry, which includes pharmaceuticals, pet foods, and even the industries that supply veterinarians with things that they need, like the tools in their hospital, like their electronic medical record system, or in the technology behind all the machines and tools that we use to monitor our patients. These are parts of the profession that you probably don't wake up and say, I want to be that veterinarian, because you may not have been exposed to it yet. Well, veterinary medicine exposes you to those things. And UC Davis, as the #1 veterinary school in the world, the largest research program in the veterinary world, the largest house officer program in the world, the second largest equine caseload in the world, second to Colorado State. We have the largest clinical hospital patient load, period. In all our teaching hospital, we see more patients a year than any other vet school, almost 60,000 patients last year. And with the pandemic, we're increasing our patient load every day, especially my emergency service. We're swamped. But these things that you get as a student at UC Davis actually are pretty amazing, because we are the top. We are really amazing, and I can't say it enough. I'm proud of everybody I work with. I'm proud of our clients. I'm proud of our students. I'm proud of my colleagues. We're #1 because they are so amazing. Everybody works together to make this place as good as it can be. And the global opportunities, the research opportunities, the externships, the internships, the exposure to specialties that some schools don't even have, it's here. So I see when you want to target your eye on veterinary medicine, I see why you want to go to UC Davis. I totally get it. I live it. I'm part of it. And it is very exciting for sure. When you think about your other options, you got to keep a wide window open, because if we can't make it into Davis, then you'll make it into somewhere else. My guess is you're going to be driven. You're going to have the good metrics, meaning grade point averages, GRE scores, and emotional intelligence, and we'll talk about that in a second, that gets you an interview and a spot in the class. But what I would have to say, and the thing that I think is more exciting about veterinary medicine, and is one of those aha moments that I actually didn't anticipate how much I was going to love this part of the profession, it's actually the people. You got to like people, and you got to like getting inside their head and helping them out. You have to learn that their issue with their animal is going to be helped by you. Like, you will be the person who is trained and in a unique position and have the privilege to help that person or that farmer or that ecosystem. That's pretty powerful. And you're the person with that degree that can make the change happen, the discovery. But at the same time of doing all the science and doing all the medicine and doing all the problem solving, the animals and the herds and the ecosystems are always attached and integrally related with people. So the part of veterinary medicine that I truly love, that is part that you don't realize you have to embrace, is the fact that you are a people service and you are a people business, which means, what are you going to do to tell us that you're an amazing, excellent people person when you have your application into veterinary school? Obviously, you have to know how to speak and communicate and get your point across and be concerned and empathetic and be ethical and have morals. That's clear. But what are you going to do to separate yourself from other candidates that's going to make you better or more attractive? You have to have clear evidence that you're a people person and that you can think differently. Walk in someone else's shoes and feel comfortable doing that. Take the world from a different perspective. Own it. Understand it. Use it to your advantage to help these people and their animals. So you're going to really need to embrace potentially social science courses that are going to really open your eyes up to social justice, anthropology, world politics. You're going to need a good perspective that's broader than science, STEM classes. You still have to take your STEM classes. You still have to maximize your experience and maximize your grades in organic chemistry, physics, all those courses that you know are prerequisites. But don't forget the other side of your training. Your training is both scientific and metric driven on your grades. And of course, we would love for you to maximize your grades, and maximize your grades by taking courses that you really enjoy and the subjects you want to master. But don't forget about the social sciences, because those really need to be balanced with the STEM courses. We want to make sure that you understand the issues of the world, because veterinary medicine does not take place in a box, does not take place in an isolated bubble. It is integrated with the world, and that we deal with every day within the hospital, within our patients, within ourselves. It's more than just the buildings that we work in or the ecosystem we're out in. It's all about the integration of the people that we work with, their experiences, their troubles, their animals, how they're surviving or thriving because of them. It's your job to help that family, that ecosystem, those people to thrive. So this is what I think makes veterinary medicine an amazing opportunity. It is clearly complicated. And education of yourself in any way you possibly can is really, really important so that you can be prepared to be that person in the world to change everything. You have to innovate, you have to heal, you have to advance. I think that Mahatma Gandhi said that you be the change that you want to see in the world, something along that lines. I probably butchered his quote, but that's the kind of person you have to be. You want to not only identify what's wrong, but you want to go in and fix it. And this might be a local problem with a local single animal. This might be a more systemic problem in the community, which overlaps with people and potentially political policies and other things that are really seeming to be out of your control. Well, they're not, because you're armed as a professional with knowledge, problem-solving skills, and an awareness of the world, not just the world as far as science goes, but the world as far as people goes. And this is something that might really be interesting to you. And I think if that part of if that part is interesting to you, meaning animals and people and helping everything thrive, survive, and innovate at the same time, then veterinary medicine is right for you. It is the part of, I think, it's the part of my profession that I have grown to embrace and love as far as the most amazing part of my profession. And again, we're privileged to be able to do that. We're given a license and a degree that allows us to be in a very unique space to do very different things than our nursing colleagues, our human physician colleagues. It's really different, but yet it's the same. So a lot of the courses you're going to take through undergrad for sure are similar. You're going to have pre-meds, pre-nursing. You'll have biomedical engineers. You'll have chemical or chemists. You'll have all sorts of people in these courses with you, bringing different perspectives, and they're going to have different trajectories. But that information and that pairing and those things you're going to learn from each other, it's essential to pay attention to those as well. You're going to really want to pay attention to people. And you're going to really want to pay attention to the issues that are in front of us. Right now, the world is not the greatest place. There's a lot of things that aren't really great about it. And there's a lot of things that we're not super proud of as Americans. But not being political, I'm just saying, how do we make this better? To make this better, we're actually going to have to be those professionals that have the knowledge and use that knowledge to the benefit of our communities. These things are what I think make veterinary medicine very exciting. So how do we do that when we're getting you to veterinary school? We look at your transcripts, we talk to you in interviews, we look at the letters of references. All of those things go into defining the person that is you. But I don't want you to be a carbon copy of everyone else. I want you to actually be unique and individual and tell us why you're unique and individual, because that diversity that you bring to the application adds diversity to our class, to our profession, and allows us to take care of the diverse communities that we have out there. It's essential. Your help in this world is essential. Your urge to make change is essential. We need it. We need you. We need excellent people in veterinary medicine that have the understanding and depth of both the physical sciences and the social sciences, and really, really want you to embrace that as part of what you're going to be doing as an applicant and as a veterinarian in veterinary school and beyond. So I'm happy to entertain questions. I'm going to stick around through the rest of our time tonight. So I know my team has a lot of good answers for things that might be popping up, but specifically if anyone has specific questions for me, I'm going to stick around and we're going to chat about it. But I don't want to take more time because I think I might got my point across. And I'm really happy you guys are here. I really, really want you to excel And don't forget to use HPA as one of your launching points because they're going to help you a lot. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Jandry. That was a really great kickoff to tonight. So we have, like I said, so much to cover tonight, and I already see that so many of you are asking questions, and many of the staff who are here tonight are going to get to those questions very soon. We are going to hopefully cover some of those questions in the next part of tonight. We're going to take just about 15 minutes, and I'm going to go through some of the real basics, I guess, when it comes to pre-vet advising. And so I know that a lot of people have sometimes some really basic questions. So I don't know, Manisha, if you want to go to the next slide and we can start. So some of the big questions that we see most often with first years incoming transfers are, what do I need to do? What do I need to take? And so one thing I want to make really, really clear is that I think people sometimes come in and they want to be told, what do I need to do to be successful? And I think they imagine that there's some kind of canary colored sheet that they can get handed that's going to basically say, do these things, check off these boxes, do this exactly, and this should lead to success. I think it's really important to sort of point out a lot of things about the problem with that mentality is, first of all, anybody who hands you a canary colored sheet and tells you do these things and you'll get into vet school, you should be a little wary of that because, first of all these prereqs that are on here, it's impossible for any person to tell you that any given school's prereqs are going to be the same 4 years later or 2 years later or 1 semester later. Every single vet school in the country sets their own requirements, and every vet school could decide any day they're going to change their requirements. They're going to add a second semester of whatever. They're going to take something off. They're going to add basket weaving on there. Anytime they can change their requirements. And you might be surprised to hear this, but they don't actually send me a text and let me know when that happens. They don't let everyone know at once, like, hey, we added this thing. So it's really, really important that you take responsibility for understanding what it takes for you to be successful on this journey. Now, don't get me wrong, we're here to help you. We're all here to help you. But at the end of the day, if you don't take the right class, or if you miss taking a class and you were going off of that sheet that was made in 1995, who is at fault for that? We can always go back and blame the original maker of that sheet that was passed down through clubs and passed down from friend to friend. But at the end of the day, it's only you who is going to suffer the consequences of that, not the person who made that sheet. So we are going to give you lots and lots of direction. But what I really encourage all of you to do very early is start to think about what type of vet schools might you want to go to. And there's really easy ways to figure that out. One of the ways that you can figure that out is through the pre-health conference that's happening in a couple of weeks. We have more than a dozen vet schools signed up to come to that. You can pop into their rooms and ask questions like, tell me a little bit about your curriculum model. Tell me about any clinical experiences that you have in the first couple of years. What communities do you serve in your free clinics? You can ask questions about things that matter to you, and you can start to make a list. And I would say the sooner you start to make a list about schools you're considering, the better, because then you can just pop in. It takes 30 seconds to Google a school, look at their requirements on their website, and keep track of those requirements. And so we put up the common prereqs for vet school, but I always have to be very clear that every school sets their own requirements. Every school sets their own amount of courses. So for example, some schools might say we only need 1 semester of OCHEM, which would be 2 quarters. So you could do the 8 series, whereas another school might say we want a whole year of OCHEM, which would be the 118 series. So you might come to one of us and say, well, should I take 1A, AA, or should I take 118? And what would we say back to you? What would our answer be to that? Well, first, it depends on your major. So if you're a biochem major, you're definitely taking 118, but it also depends on what schools you want to apply to. And so in order for you to know whether you should take this or that, you need to first know where you want to apply. And I'm not saying you have to know exactly, like I know as a first year, you might feel like that's really overwhelming. I don't know exactly what schools I'm going to apply to, but you might have a good idea at this point. You might know I'm going to apply to the 2 California schools. I know that. So go ahead and look up those 2 schools and keep track of it. But, bookmark their websites, and once a year, pop in and check out their website. See what they're up to. Does anybody have any questions about any of the requirements that we have listed up here? And you can feel free to post it in the question, or you can post it in the chat. I see one, does PLS 120 count for stats? I'm going to actually ask Brandy to chime in on that. PLS 120 is a stats class for plant sciences. Brandy, would you, Lena's saying yes.
Any stats, literally
Anything.
psychological stats, painting stats, if that's a thing. Any
Anything that has the word stats in it. Painting stats sounds great. Okay, so here's the thing. UC Davis School of Vet Med says yes. Painting stats sounds amazing. But if you call up Western might say absolutely not. You need to take whatever kind of stats, whatever, 13 or 100. You can't assume that what works for one school works for all the schools. And so you kind of have to make decisions that work for the majority of the schools that you're looking at. So if you decide you want to take PLS 120, what would be a good idea for you to do is compose one email to 5 vet schools in one email and say, "Hi vet schools, I'm considering taking PLS 120 to satisfy my stats requirement. Would you accept this course?" And they'll say yes, no, or I have no idea what is PLS 120. I'd probably put the name of the course in the email because they don't know what the name of our course or the numbers of our courses are. So you can definitely ask vet school questions. There's nothing wrong with that as long as your emails are professional and well worded and all of that. But it's a good way to find out quickly if what you're thinking, especially if you're doing something outside the box. So you don't need to do that for stats 13 or stats 100. Those are really straightforward. But if you're trying to take stats for painting, you probably want to ask a vet school if that's going to work for them, because that's a little bit outside the box. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, so a lot of requirements will be mandated by your major. It's important you always check with your academic advisors before you make a solid move on anything. But long story short, you have 2 people to satisfy. You have your major people, your major advisors, and your graduation requirements, and then you have the vet schools. And those 2 things you want to try to align. And HPA is sort of like the mediator. So we don't do graduation requirements, we don't do major stuff, but we definitely know what vet schools want, and so we can help you create that plan that makes sure you're aligning your graduation requirements with what the vet schools want. All right, next. I know that experiences are a really hot topic right now. The number one thing I'm being asked by pre-vets right now is, how do I get vet experience in the land of COVID? And I think that, first of all, I need to stress to you that in no way are you uniquely disqualified or disadvantaged in this situation, right? We have an entire nation that's currently mostly in lockdown. I can't say the whole nation, but mostly we're all being cautious and not doing as many things these days. And so if you feel like, well, I've been trying and I just can't get anything, trust me, it's not you. It's not just you. There are many, many people in the same situation. And so some things that you might consider. Anybody know the minimum number of hours that you need to be qualified for the UC Davis School of Vet Med? What's the least amount? Yep, 180, exactly. So do you need 1,200 to be competitive for the UC Davis School of Vet Med? Yes, no, no, yes, no, yes. Okay, again, I'm gonna ask Lena or Brandy to chime in. Let's squash this right now. Do you need 1,200 hours to be competitive for the School of Vet Med?
It's not really a yes or no answer, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Our admissions process has 2 portions.
Okay.
If you make the holistic review process, it may be beneficial to see that many hours. That being said, if you don't meet the minimum metrics or have a competitive quantitative GRE score and the 2 GPAs, 10,000 hours isn't going to make a difference.
Okay, but let's say you're not in the holistic. Let's say you're in the first group. Does it make a difference?
No, it does not. And I would say, to add to that, in terms of the number of hours, that wouldn't even necessarily be something that the committee member would be looking at in terms of the number of hours. They would be more so looking at also the variety of experience that the student is bringing in. So if they do have 180 hours per se, the minimum, and if it's just in small animal, that won't necessarily look as good as if somebody were to have, maybe some hours that were more diverse within maybe zoologic medicine or large animal and small animal. So just a mixture.
Okay. So the moral of the story I wanted to get across is that you have a long time to get hours, the vet hours, and you do need to have vet hours. You have a long time to get those vet hours. And I think the misconception is that you need 1,200 when you really don't. If you, let's say you need, let's go with 500. I mean, that's still a decent amount. 2 summers working full time, and you pretty much hit what you need for the number of hours. If you're an incoming transfer, you're in your 3rd year, you probably feel like, oh, I'm behind, I haven't been doing too much. Maybe you've already done some vet hours, that'd be great. But let's say you're starting from scratch in your 3rd year. Well, in that case, you might feel a little crunched, right? Because and right now with COVID, there isn't a lot you can do during the school year. Although I'm going to toss out some ideas. In that case, things you might consider taking a gap year so that you have an entire extra year to gain those experiences, because normally if you're going straight through, you would have to apply at the end of your 3rd year. So things like changing your timeline just a little bit, changing it to add on an extra year to give yourself a little bit more time to gain that experience, to make yourself more competitive, or just qualified to apply to vet school is an option. And I know that's not really an option most people want, but none of us wanted COVID to happen. None of us want to work from home. None of us wanted a lot of things, right? Like, this isn't ideal for many people. So I know that might not be what you want to hear, but that might be an option for you to give yourself more time to acquire those vet hours. Now, again, the vet school can chime in. I've been listening to other vet schools talk, and some of the things that I'm hearing, you definitely need to get the vet hours. They're not going to make an exception and say, you can't, we're going to waive the vet requirements because it's just so hard these days. That's not going to be a thing. However, if you can't get vet hours right now, that doesn't mean you should just chill on your couch and watch Netflix. There are many things you can still do, even though you're not getting vet hours, to make yourself a competitive applicant. And truthfully, we hope that you have more things about you than just the fact that you want to work with animals. There are other things about you that you might want the vet school to know about. Like, for example, let's say you do want to work in equity. You do want to work with specific populations because you really do want to increase access to vet med in certain marginalized communities. If that's a thing for you, you're, like Dr. Jandry said, you're going to work with people. So what can you do with those communities now that shows that you can work well, you can connect, you can help bridge that gap, you can provide linguistically and culturally appropriate care to that community? And so you could look for community service volunteer opportunities, not animal related. You can just volunteer with the people, help the people in some way. That could be tutoring, that could be childcare, that could be working in a shelter. So many ways that you can access people who need help and have transferable skills, right? We're talking about communication skills, all kinds of things that you're going to be able to translate over to vet med. So right now, if you can't find a vet experience, I would try to find it in this order. And research, if you're on campus or coming to campus, I'm telling you, research is going to be a challenge too. A lot of people are not going to let a brand new researcher in their lab because they're not allowed to be within 6 feet of you. And it's very hard to train someone in a lab when you're using really expensive equipment without training you standing next to you. So for right now, I would say, if you can't get vet experience, if you've been reaching out to vets and offering to volunteer in their clinics or wherever, and you're not finding anyone letting you in, which might be normal, then the next thing would be look for animal experience. Can you look at a shelter and see if any of them will let you in? Can you look for animal rescues that might be looking for volunteers to help clean or walk animals or do anything related to animals? Next, can you do any community service? If it's related to animals, great. If it's related to marginalized communities, great. If it's not, just any community service. Can you do anything? Is there anything you enjoy doing that you can share with others? Are you a musician? Can you volunteer in the nursing home? And maybe not the nursing home. Can you do anything? Can you offer free music lessons to underprivileged children? Or if you play basketball, can you be a basketball coach? Is there anything you can do to give your natural born talents and skills to other people? Can you share that with other people? And if you can't do that, then the last thing I would say, being responsible, you always want to be responsible with COVID, is get a job. Do anything. I would say do anything under the sun other than watch Netflix all day. If you could do anything telehealth, if you could do tutoring online, if you could do crisis hotline, any of it. I know you might feel like, well, I'm going into an animal field. I really don't think that these human experiences are relevant. But like Dr. Jandry said, you're going to be helping people for the rest of your life. Having good communication skills, working with distressed individuals is a good skill to build at this age. So at this stage in your life. So I would say get that stuff done so that when you get back to campus, when things open up, when things start getting back to normal, then we can start with those vet experiences really quickly. And if you see anything like e-shadowing or something like that, I would say go for it, but don't spend money to do those things. Like if you can find a free opportunity, definitely do the free opportunity, but you really shouldn't be having to spend hundreds or God forbid thousands of dollars to gain experiences. Once you get back to campus, there's going to be plenty of opportunities, but I don't want you all to have to like buy your way into vet school. That shouldn't be an expectation. So I know people are really profiting right now off of you all pre-health students not having access to things. And I just want to warn you, like, I don't think you should pay for that. This chart I have up in front of me. This is sort of a chart that we use as we get closer to the end. When you're ready to apply, people ask questions like, is my experience research or not, animal or not, vet, and so forth. Right now, none of you should be close to applying, so we don't have to worry about that quite so much, but I wanted to just put it up there because this is what we'll use later on. Manisha, you want to go to the next slide? And we can't do an orientation unless we talk about timelines. And so I want to just quickly, I'm not going to read this off to you, but I do want to talk about what it means to go straight through versus taking a gap year. And I do find that many pre-vets do go straight through. That is a reasonable thing to try to do. Some of the reasons why people take gap years include needing to take more time to gain experiences, needing to take more time to gain letters of recommendation, just maybe having a really overwhelming first 2 years of college and just feeling like everything is so rushed. I just need to take a deep breath and give myself one more year, knowing that maybe a few months out of school will benefit me, give my mind just a slight break. It's not much of a break because you're still going to be interviewing during your gap year. So it's not like you're going to be on vacation losing motivation or anything. The other reason is sometimes by the end of your third year, your GPA is not quite where you need it to be. And once you hit submit on VMCAS, it freezes your GPA. So sometimes people need to wait another year to apply and apply at the end of their fourth year, because that way their fourth year grades go into their application. And so we really want to have your last 60 or so units strong. We want you to have an upward trend. And so having one more year of that upward trend can benefit a lot of people. And so, you might be coming in right now saying, well, I'm definitely going straight through 100%. No doubt about that. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change plans. You're not a failure if you change plans. It doesn't mean anything about you. Many, many people take one gap year. Many people take 2 gap years. Some people get master's degrees before going to vet school. Some people work for 3 or 4 years, all kinds of things. So I think that the idea that everything should happen in some kind of linear path is something, it's like a lie that's fed to us as young children by society, that we're supposed to go to high school, go to college, go to vet school, get a job, get married, do this, do this, do this. And I hope very soon you realize like that's absolutely not the way life works. Life throws things at us all the time. Life throws car accidents and broken ankles and breakups with our significant others and just all kinds of things. Life will always throw things at you. And sometimes those things we can bounce back really fast. And some of those things knock us off for a couple of months. And sometimes we just have to slow down sometimes. And I think the idea is that if you push as fast as you can, as hard as you can forever, it says something about you, right? You're strong, you're this, you're that. It doesn't actually. In most cases, most people can do that for only so long before they hit a wall or come crashing down. And we typically see that happen at some point in college for the folks who can't slow down at all. So I know that you might be conditioned to think that you have to go, hard and strong all the time. But if you feel yourself experiencing any degree of, anxiety, stress, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like just overwhelmed, I guess is the best word, take a deep breath and talk to somebody, talk to HPA, talk to your academic advisor, talk to a counselor, talk to someone, because you definitely should not be suffering in silence through this. And suffering like that, having that degree of stress and anxiety about how fast you have to do this, it's not necessary, because you don't have to do it that way. No one is saying you have to do it that way. Maybe your parents, but I've been working here for a long time. we can usually talk to parents about that. I mean, they usually think you have to go straight through, but we've been able to talk a lot of parents out of that. So talk to someone if that's an issue, but this is how it's going to work generally. You can take your GRE anytime within 3 years of applying. So I would encourage you to take it early. Do not wait until the summer that you're going to apply to take it. You're going to be very busy that summer filling out applications and doing a lot of writing, so you don't want to be stressing about a test. VMCAS opens in January, remember that. And so we encourage you to start your application in January of the year that you plan to apply. So that means starting your personal statements and getting your letters of rec and writing your secondaries and all the things that have to go into an app. We're going to do that starting in January of the year you're applying. Not this year, not next year, unless you're a fourth year. For most of you, not for a couple of years. So no stress, nothing to worry about right now, but just know that's how it works. Any questions? The two parts of the application, you have a primary app, which is called VMCAS, and then you have what are called secondaries or supplementals or school-specific questions, which every vet school has a set of questions that they're going to ask you that are specific to them. Some of them are in VMCAS and some of them send them to you afterwards. And so the two parts are, you have to do the primary first, and then you do the secondaries after that. And so the secondaries sometimes come throughout the summer, and I know a lot of science students don't like to write. I happen to have a bachelor's in English and a master's in English, so I always find it really fun during that time of the year, because you may think that going into a vet med, you don't have to write, you don't have to be a good writer. Well, this process flips that on its head. You definitely have to be a writer, because you're going to do a ton of writing that summer. You have to write all about yourself and share stories, and it's really fun working with all of you during that. Oh, Lena told us the GRE is good for 5 years, so that's good to know. So you can take it now if you want to, although I really wouldn't take it during classes. I really would wait till the summer. Yeah.
Joanne, I wanted to bring up a question that came up here. There's a question about the due date of the VMCAS and saying, well, if the deadlines are until September, but this chart says submit in May, what's the deal with that?
Yeah, so that's true. The deadline is not until September. I am a big believer in that if you want to be successful in life, you should not be submitting things on deadlines. And so if you're working around us or working around HPA, you're going to be encouraged to not submit things on deadlines. I put May because I'm ambitious. Do most pre-vets submit in May? I would say not most. My most gung-ho applicants submit in May because some schools are what's called rolling and some schools are not rolling. So Davis is not a rolling school. But here's the thing. If you submit your app in May, let's say you submit your app to Davis in May because they don't send secondaries until later, your app gets verified. Once your app is verified, then you're scot-free. You don't have to worry about any issues related to your transcripts. Then you can keep working on the other apps and filling out the secondaries and submitting them one at a time over the course of the next couple of months. And as soon as you submit your app, after it's verified, the schools get your information and they'll start screening your application immediately. So if you submit it early and get verified early, you'll find out if you have any problems with your transcripts or if there's any issues, and you can get those all taken care of early so that we're not on the deadline scrambling and stressing and calling schools about transcripts and this and that. And it's just, there's no need to do that. And then if you miss the deadline, if you like one of your transcripts doesn't arrive on time and it's not there by the deadline, you might have paid $500 to apply, but your app is not getting verified. You just wasted money and you wasted a lot of energy applying. So we want you to apply early so that you don't have any stress.
Joanne,
Yeah.
Can you also address what grades are included if I were applying as a junior to try to go straight through?
Yeah, so if you apply at the end of your third year, you'll have obviously your first year, your second year, and just your third year. So if you do take summer classes, if you're taking summer session 2 classes, those grades are not going to be out before you're going to submit your application. So your summer session classes won't go into your application, just your spring classes. If you want your spring grades in your application, then you would wait until your spring grades hit at the end of June and hit submit in June. It just depends on what your grades are and what your needs are. Some people, by the end of their third year or by the end of their fourth year, by their winter quarter, they're good. Like they don't need an extra quarter worth of grades. So they go ahead and submit early and it's fine. They don't, like one more quarter isn't going to change their GPA any more than a 1/10 of a point. So it kind of just depends on the person. Let's say you're like at a 3.18 and you're like, I really want this quarter because it's going to throw me up to a 3.2. Well, if that's the case, then you probably want to wait for your spring grades. But again, that's person by person. You put your hours, you put your experiences in the primary application. So there's an experiences section and you list everything you did with the number of hours in your primary. Good questions. All right, should we keep going? I'm probably already over time. All right, so very quickly, I'm not going to spend too much on this. I just want to emphasize that we offer a lot of pre-vet programming. Every summer, we do the pre-vet boot camp, which is what you see in the pictures here. We do suturing on pig's feet normally when we're not virtual. We do a tour of the vet school. We do mock MMIs throughout the year. I mentioned the pre-health conference where a lot of vet schools will be, and we have a lot of workshops and programming for pre-vets. And then we offer daily workshops and drop-in advising. Our job is to help you navigate this path. So definitely take advantage of that. Don't come to Orchard Road, we're not there, but you can definitely make an appointment online, and we're doing phone and Zoom appointments. So we're happy to talk with you and help you start, help you to get started on that journey. And we also do, when you get to that point, we do GRE test prep. It's Doug, who spoke up a few minutes ago. He is our GRE guru. He's been working for a test prep company for more than 15 years, and we hired him so that he can be of service to you. He can help you with any part of the GRE, whether it's prepping, getting your timeline created, or if you're doing a passage and you keep missing the question, you're like, I have no idea why I'm getting this wrong. Make an appointment with Doug. He'll look at the question with you and help you understand what's going on. All right, so I think I'm going to turn it over to, who's next? Manisha?
So I'm going to take it from here.
Okay.
So everyone, thanks for being here today. For the next part of the presentation, we actually brought in some of our very successful UC Davis alumni who have gone on to veterinary school so that you can hear from their experiences, why they think they were successful, how they got themselves into vet school. So Oliver, Marilla, David, and Nika, I hope you're with me. If you can turn on your videos so we could see you. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. If I could quickly have you introduce yourself, what your major was at UC Davis, and when did you graduate? I'll start with Oliver.
Awesome. My name's Oliver. I graduated in 2019. I was an animal science major at UC Davis, and I'm a current first year at CSU's vet school, Colorado State.
Thank you. Marilla?
Hi, everyone. I'm Mireya. I'm a second year vet student at UC Davis, and I was an animal science major, and I graduated in 2019.
Thank you. David?
Hi, everyone. I'm also a second year vet student who majored in animal science, and I also graduated in 2019.
And Anika?
Hi, I'm Annika. I graduated in 2019. I am also a second year UC Davis vet student.
Thank you. And I apologize for butchering some of the names. I got it now. So can you please tell me what were some positives and challenges you experienced in your first year at UC Davis? And Annika, I'll start with you.
Is that undergrad or at the vet school?
Undergrad. So we're going to just focus on your undergrad experience.
I think going into undergrad, I was a little not sure how the transition would be between high school and college. I definitely took some quarters figuring out, messing up a lot academically and trying to balance like club participation, sports, social activities with like being on my own. And that was just probably one of the things I struggled with early on. Did you say just challenges?
And some positives of your first year at Davis.
I think it was great. Like, I think it was great meeting other people. I got to definitely meet other people with my interests, with my same career goals. I wanted to be a veterinarian really early on in life, so it was like throughout undergrad, and I got to meet other people with that similar interests, and I was able to kind of help them out when I found out something cool or interesting or a fun experience, and they helped me, and it was just a very good learning experience finding people that like fit the same niche I did.
Thank you. David, same question. When you think about your undergrad experience at your first year at undergrad at UC Davis undergrad, what were some positives and challenges?
So while I did get my bachelor's at UC Davis, I was actually a transfer student to UC Davis. So my very first year of undergrad was at a different school. I did the community college thing before undergrad. Would you like me to talk about that, or would you like me
Actually, as a transfer student, transferring into Davis, if that was your first year, that's what I want to hear about.
Yeah. So I guess coming from the community college level to the 4-year level, I didn't notice much of a difference in terms of like the rigor of the classes. I guess like class sizes were a lot larger, which is something that I wasn't really used to. You don't get the one-on-one, I guess the student to professor ratio is much larger here, or I guess smaller here at UC Davis and at the community college level. So that was something I had to get used to like actually go to office hours as opposed to just kind of like going up to the professor after class and talking with them for a little while. Yeah, I guess that was probably the biggest difference. Also, I felt like the stress was a little bit higher because it's in these last couple of years of your undergrad education that the grades that you get and maintain, really count towards your veterinary application. So stress was a little higher, and class sizes are a little bit bigger.
Thank you. Mirella?
Yeah, for me, I started as a freshman, so I did year 1 through 4 at Davis. And for me, I think the biggest thing was kind of being like kind of homesick and also very confused about how college worked. I was one of the first in my like family, even extended family, that went to college. So I came in pretty confused, and I was confused for most of my first year. So that was the biggest challenge. In addition to being like homesick and not being around like the same people I was around all the time. So that was a little challenging, and that kind of ran into like academic success because I had other things on my mind. I also, besides just college being hard to adjust to in general, I had that on my mind. So that was a thing, and I didn't have too many people to talk to about it because I didn't really have like family or a lot of friends that were in college. A lot of them were also starting when I was, so that was a little tricky. So definitely if you know anybody or like reach out, get a lot of help because that it helps to hear other people's experiences. But positives is, even though it was challenging and like a huge difference from what I was used to, I got to know a lot more about what my interests were and things I liked. I talked to a lot of different people. Davis is super diverse. So I got to meet people from all over the world, from different cultures, and that was super exciting. And I love learning about new people, so that's great.
Thank you. And Oliver?
Yeah, I'm kind of gonna echo the challenge of just like adjusting to college was really hard for me too. My first quarter, and I remember like inorganic chemistry just did not make sense to my brain, and having to learn how to study differently, and also how to ask that it's okay to ask for help, because that wasn't something I had to do as often in high school. But like in college, I went to office hours and free tutoring sessions and all of that for chemistry, because that was just a really hard class for me. And also I got sick, so I had like 7 different colds my freshman year. I was just perpetually sick. So that just like added to the homesickness, because like you don't have like your parents there like taking care of you, making food and stuff. But the positives, also just having such a diverse like community to reach out to here and like make friends in, and like find people who are so different than you but also like share interests, but they have really different backgrounds. That was great to learn about. And specifically in the animal science department, just all of the professors were amazing, and our labs that were like from day one. I know this, I don't know if, I'm guessing they're not in person right now with COVID, but there's plenty of like other labs in like other years, but just like the labs you got to have in animal science, I was like flipping sheep and doing all this stuff that as like a city person I hadn't got to do. So that was great.
So when you arrived at Davis, were you involved in anything in your first year at Davis? And then what were some of the activities you were involved in during your time at Davis? And Oliver, I'll just start with you.
Awesome. My first year in Davis, I was in the Davis Harry Potter Alliance, which is a club on campus. I was also a member of the Vet Aid Club. And for one quarter, I was in the Draft Horse and Driving Club, and I learned I don't like horses. But it was good lesson. Was it just my first year, or was
your
it
first year? And then throughout Davis, what were some of your other activities?
Well, I stayed in the Davis Harry Potter Alliance and became an officer. Stayed in the Vet Aid Club. I also, me and David built a float together my senior year for the picnic day parade we had for the animal science department. I was also on the halter breaking team for 2 years, and a member of the Davis Ballroom Dance Club.
Okay, thank you. Mirella?
Yeah, my first year, I didn't really do much because I didn't want to overload myself, and I was already like trying to adjust. So I think I joined the pre-vet supporting diversity club, and I went to a couple of their meetings, but other than that, I really didn't do anything until my second year. And that's when I started joining I started going to more meetings with like the Aid Club and PSSD, and I even did an internship with the Aid Club at some point. I think it was like my second year. And then I also I did a few clinics with the student-run clinics. So the Knights Landing One Health Clinic and the Mercer Clinic. So they let undergrads go, and basically we were basically kind of vet assistants. And you get to talk to vet students and veterinarians, and you get to work in different types of communities than are normal. These tend to be underserved communities. So that was something I did throughout most of undergrad once I got started. And I loved it. I'm still involved with them as a vet student. But in addition to that, I also did, there's a club called MAR. It's called, what is it? Mujeres Ayudan a la Raza. It's nothing animal related. I joined it mainly to meet more Hispanic students. And to do, like, we did community service events. So we do like food drives, and we do some tutoring or some high school outreach programs. So nothing animal related. It was just a lot of community service, helped me talk to people and get to know more Hispanic students, which is my main interest. And then I did have a job as an advisor, which again, nothing animal related, but it helped me a lot learning how to communicate with people and working through different types of situations. So I did a lot, but nothing basically my first year. So if you don't do anything your first year, it's fine.
David?
So when I came to UC Davis, I was already involved in some things that I was involved in at my community college. I rode horses at a horse rescue in Galt, which is, if you're unfamiliar, it's south on 99 near Elk Grove. I kept doing that for probably most of my first year. I got involved in the Young Cattlemen's Association. I have an interest in large animal and food animal rural medicine. So, that to me was a good way to get my hands on some cattle and get experience that way. I did a internship in a behavioral research lab in the animal science department. We were looking at disbudding and dairy calves, which was super interesting. I ended up getting a job at the vet school, actually, which I still have now, funny enough. And so that was really cool. I worked for a little while as an academic tutor. I cycled a little bit here and there. Those are the main things. And then I guess since I was only at UC Davis for 2 years, I didn't have as many opportunities to be involved. But yeah, like I did things like Oliver mentioned, you know, helping out with like picnic day, like we built the picnic day parade float for the animal science department, like fun things like that, that yeah, that I'm glad I did. So.
Thank you. Annika?
Hi, so I also was a little late to the game and didn't volunteer or get involved as much in my first year because I was still figuring out a lot of things out. But I did start getting involved in Taekwondo. It was like a club at UC Davis, and I became super involved and like competed nationally multiple like years, and I'm still involved with the club at UC Davis. That was like a really great, powerful outlet for me to be able to like kind of escape away from school while still being like fit and making sure that like I was taking care of myself like more outside of like academics. I also, in second year, I joined a social sorority at UC Davis. I joined AD Pi and became a founding member there. I just was like, why not? I'll like try to figure it out, see if it's fun for me. And it worked out. And I met a lot of incredible people, some that are like here today right now, that are also still going to Davis. I also did Little Eye. I did not get involved with the association, but they had a Little Eye for the Cattlemen's Association where you got to learn how to show goats and cows, and those are the two species that I worked with, and it was incredible. I still remember my goat. She was my baby, Kiari. Oh, I love her so much. I also did research in undergrad. I just reached out to one of my TAs, which I really recommend you guys doing. I know it's weird with COVID, but there was a TA I fell in love with from Animal Science 2. Her name was Ellie. She's amazing. She's working on her PhD, and I just was, hey, like, can I research under you? Do you have any experiences? Do you know anyone who can? Just to see if I might want to pursue that path / also like have that under my belt to make me look more competitive. I didn't know if it would really impact my application, but it was definitely a path I wanted to pursue a little bit. And it got me one of the most powerful letters of recommendation, I think, because her PI was the chair of the animal science department and just happened to work out that way. So I got to do research experience, present at the undergraduate research conference my senior year, and have a really strong connection with a professor, because I know that's very difficult even for people that are like really outgoing or introverted. It doesn't really matter. Like, it's hard to get that like really close experience with professors when it's like classes of like a couple hundred or so. I also did every single IM possible because you need a break and it's fun.
Thank you. And I just want to point out, I don't think, Annika, you were late to the game. I think it's not uncommon for people to take that first year just to adjust to Davis, right? You've heard some of our panelists talk about homesickness, trying to figure out how to be a good student at Davis. You really want to, start with strong grades. So if it means not getting involved, then that's okay. I hope you also heard the diversity of the activities people were involved in, both animal related, but also not animal related. And that's important to have that balance. And these are the activities that also make you unique and build yourself up, right? If everyone did the same things, how would vet schools distinguish you from the next applicant? So if you have interests, I encourage you to continue them. Because that's what's going to make your 2 or 4 years at Davis more enjoyable. So when did you apply to vet school, and why did you feel like that was a good time to apply? Annika, we left off with you. We'll start with you.
Okay, I always stress this when I'm talking to people who are like prospective, like going into vet schools. Like, I am the best case scenario of what you should not do. And I say that with all seriousness. Like, I was like recommended not to do what I did, and it just happened to work out for me. So don't take this as like advice. I wasn't sure, like, I knew I wanted to be a vet since I was like 3 years old. Like, I really wanted to pursue this career path. I just wasn't sure if I was a strong enough candidate graduating out of undergrad. So I was like also wanted to take a gap year because I felt like that was like the best time to take a break, which is like awesome. There's no right path for anyone. Like, in like our vet class, there are people from like 20 to 37 and they all are in the same place, and it worked out great for all of them. So it's definitely very individual. But I applied only to Davis just to see, so I could kind of like, I know I couldn't really get feedback, but kind of like analyze my own application after applying to see what I need to strengthen over my gap year in case I like don't get in and can apply to multiple, because I knew Davis was my #1 choice. That's why I chose it for undergrad. Like I was UC Davis Vet School, like die hard since day one. So I applied my junior year. So it, hopefully, ideally in a dream world, which happened to work out, would get into Davis. And I actually did get into Davis, and being California resident definitely helped with that part. So I applied 2019 and I wanted to see if I could do it. And that's pretty much, it wasn't really like, oh, this is the best time for me. It's like, I know where I want to go and where I want to end up, and I will try to do whatever I can to get there. And the timing kind of chose me more so than the other way around.
Wow, that's amazing. David.
So by the time I got to UC Davis for undergrad, I had already been at the community college level a little bit longer than I wanted to be. I'm sure that those people in the audience who are transfer students can relate to that. And so I knew coming into UC Davis, I wanted to go to vet school. I wanted to be a veterinarian, and I didn't want to be in school any longer than I had to be. And to me, that just meant applying right out of undergrad. And yeah, for me, it really was just more of a, you know, I want to get out in the world. I want to start, you know, I want to start taking part in this profession, and I don't want to wait any longer to do that than I need to. So that was my primary motivator.
So let me clarify, you applied at the end of your junior year to go straight through?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
All right. Mirella?
Yeah, similar to them, I also applied the summer between my junior and senior year. And the reason I applied is I only applied to Davis for my first time around because my plan was I had the minimum requirements. So I decided that I would try applying because I had what I needed. If I didn't get in, that's fine. I could just take a gap year, and second time around, I would just apply either to just Davis or to more schools, depending on what happened during the gap year. I was okay with like waiting, but I wanted, if I had the things and I was ready mentally to go into school, if I did get an interview and I did get in. So I just did it. And I was lucky enough that they saw good things in me, and I got accepted. And while, I mean, we have a lot of classmates, and there's classmates that took like 15 years to apply to vet school. One of them was one of my good friends, and she's with us. But then there's a lot of us that went straight in, and there's kind of like pros and cons to both. For me, it was just, I was okay with going in, and I was ready for it. So you have the requirements, you might as well try. The worst thing is you'll get told no, and then you just apply again and improve your application.
All right. And Oliver.
So I actually took a gap year between so I applied during my senior year at UC Davis instead of during my junior year. And I kind of decided this during my sophomore year. I was one of those students that Joanne kind of talked about, where I had just gone like so hard and only focused on studying to the point that I was just not really enjoying like my college experience, because I was just 100% focused on getting like absolutely perfect grades. And I kind of had like this epiphany moment of like, I don't want this to be like the next 8 years of my life. I definitely want to go to vet school, but I need to find a way to like have some good mental health and have a really good, healthy work-life balance and enjoy college and enjoy vet school. And so I decided that I would wait and apply, and then I wouldn't have to worry about interviewing during my senior year of college and not have to worry about traveling during midterms and finals, and just have an extra year to also make some stronger relationships with professors. One of my letters of recommendations came from a professor that I first met during my senior year, and it probably was one of my strongest letters of recommendation. And then also during my gap year, it was really great. I got to do some research with, again, actually, as Annika said, highly recommend reaching out to your TAs to ask them about research, because that's how I really clicked with one of my TAs and was interested in what she was researching, and so got involved in a laying hen research study during my senior year, at least pre-COVID, or not senior year, gap year. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really happy with my choice because coming into vet school, I feel like I have a really solid mental health foundation and work-life foundation, and just was really mentally refreshed coming into here. So that's my case for taking a gap year.
So at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong. It depends on how you personally feel about readiness, your academic, your experiential, and your personal readiness to commit for 4 more years of schooling, right? So some of our panelists here apply to go straight through. Oliver speaks to, you know, the benefits of taking a gap year. And at the end of the day, this is a conversation we want to have as you consider what the right choices for you are. So knowing what you know now, what's one thing you might have done differently as an undergrad, and a final piece of advice that you would give our first year and transfer students that are with us today? And Oliver, we'll just start with you.
Okay. Oh man, that's a difficult question. I feel like going back, I would have loved to have used more resources. UC Davis has so many resources at your disposal. Like first and foremost, I think health professions advising is like one of the greatest resources you have as a pre-health, pre-vet student here. And just, I mean, being here is great. All of these participants I'm seeing coming to these, but using HPA, using their workshops, coming and talking to them. If you're an animal science student, using your animal science advising center, and also just realizing that professors are also there to help you, and TAs, like part of their job and like why they wanted to get into academia is to help students and talk to them and help them through your career path. And so getting involved just in general with that sooner too would have also been good. In terms of one piece of advice, I think that like, I'm just getting back to mental health. Mental health really should be a huge priority. And I know like grades are a priority, but grades should never come above mental health. So like if you're feeling burnt out, if anything's happening, like take some time to check in with yourself and figure out what you can do to take a break, get some good food, talk to someone, whatever you need to do, or even like reach out to a therapist. And just set those foundations really strong now, because in vet school, it's going to take off and go 100 miles an hour, and you want to make sure you have those foundations beforehand.
Thank you, Oliver. Mirella?
Yeah, going off of what Oliver said, yeah, there's a lot of resources at Davis, and I learned about them now that I'm gone. And I wish I had used them a lot more. So for example, when I was doing my applications, I think I only went to HPA once to get them to review my essays, because I kind of like realized late that I could go to HPA. So I definitely use them. Even I would have used them before I started applying, but because they really helped me with my essays, it was a huge help. But in addition to that, I wish I had like done more fun things in undergrad. I feel like I focused a lot on like doing experiences and helping out in like clubs and in school, and I didn't do enough fun things. So for example, in high school, I did ceramics for 4 years, and that disappeared. And I haven't done that since. And that's something I regret, because it's very easy to do that at Davis. There's a craft center on campus. I could have very easily gone to one of those classes, but I didn't, because I decided that I wanted to study all the time, especially the first few years of undergrad. And I really wish I had taken the opportunity to do things outside of school, because I feel like it would have really helped with like my stress levels, and it would have made my mental health a lot better, because I kind of realized that later. I'm happy I realized it, because it's definitely helped in vet school. Vet school is really quick and it can be really hard. And so knowing when to stop and do things that aren't school is really helpful, because it helps you kind of like recharge and like realize that you really like this and you're not just always tired and annoyed by being in class. You kind of remember like, wow, this is really interesting. I really like it. And you kind of need to step out of the academic zone in order to realize that. So yeah, I just wish I had done more non-school stuff.
Thank you, Mirella. David?
Yeah, I agree with Oliver. It's kind of a difficult question to answer. I think it worked out for me, so, you know, I could say like not really, but I do, like looking back, I think I did a lot of really cool stuff And I feel like I did balance my mental well-being with my academics. And yeah, I agree, like your mental health is also very important and will become more important once you're actually in vet school. So learning how to take care of that as an undergrad, I think is just good practice for when you're actually in vet school, where it's really going to matter a lot more. But yeah, I would say personally, no, I think I did everything the way that I would probably do it over again. But yeah, just making sure that you're balancing your work, sorry, not your work life, well, your school life, which is really your work life, but your school life and your personal life, I think is really important. Diversifying yourself. Don't be, like Dr. Jandria is saying, don't be sort of a cookie cutter student. Really try to do things like branch out of your comfort zone, those types of things. But yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have much of a a difference. So
Okay. And then Annika, sorry.
No worries. People get it wrong all the time. It's no big deal. Yeah, I definitely do wish I went to health professional advising more. I relied a lot on my animal science advisor. If you guys are animal science or even any major, I really recommend you reaching out to your advisors. They're a very powerful resource, even if it's just like going through essays, because my advisor, she went through essays with me and went through like MMI practice things, but that's like for something for a later date. But the health professional advising, I found out about it late. I didn't know if it would really be geared toward vet school, and I was surprised when they like included a lot of different career paths. And I went there and got some MMI practice, and I actually really enjoyed it. And it surprised me how many resources was on campus. I think although it worked out for me in hindsight, like I said, I felt behind and I felt like I had a late start, even though like it's all very individual. It's difficult, like seeing like, oh, you're involved in this and this, and it's very easy to like compare yourself to your peers, and then that like I let that get to me a lot, and it got into my head. So I wouldn't say definitely focus on like you and making you the best candidate possible, but there are resources and there's tons of opportunities to get involved if you are looking for something. But I definitely wouldn't say do something just to make your application look good. I'd say do something that you're passionate, that could be like an interesting or even like a plus to your application for vet school.
Great. So I want to be respectful of your time. I know we ran a little bit over, but from what I'm hearing is just take that time to get to know what your interests are. Don't check a box when you're thinking about what to get involved in. Take care of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, because you have a whole lot of schooling ahead of you, and if you're not in good shape, it's not going to matter. Get help, get support. There's plenty on campus. And even though we are hybrid virtual, all the resources are still available. We're all seeing students. The tutoring centers are all open. So there's plenty of opportunity to get support and help that you need. But I want to give an applause to our wonderful panelists. Thank you for taking time out of your evening to be with us today. I know that our attendees got a lot out of this, and I'm hoping they take it to heart when they start thinking about their plans and their future goals. So thank you again for being here today.
you're welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick 2-minute break, and then we will pass it on to the next presenter. All right, so I know we promised you a Kahoot, but I think we're gonna push it off to later in the presentation just so we can kind of stay on track with the agenda we started with. So up next, we're gonna hear from different departments on campus and how they can support you to your journey towards veterinary school. And Spencer, take it away.
Well, hello everyone, and thanks for having me, Health Professions Advising. I appreciate getting to spend a few minutes with you all. Do you have the slides? Great, thank you, Manisha. So here we are. That's me on the left, Spencer Atkinson. I use he, him, his pronouns. I am an interim senior career advisor for agricultural and environmental sciences at the Internship and Career Center. And on the right-hand side there is my colleague, Lynn Fowler. She's the other senior career advisor in agricultural and environmental sciences. So the two of us are the most relevant advisors if you were to come in, when you come in to the ICC and to make an appointment with an advisor, be sure to look for one of our names. And you know, a lot of the things that you all are talking about throughout the evening really re-emphasize this process, this point here, which is that career development is a lifelong process, right? And it really starts the moment that you enter, if you just go back, yeah, thanks. The moment that you enter into the university, and especially for the folks who are really set on this path of entering into veterinary science, you know, the process is something that you have to be thinking about now in order to prepare yourself to meet all the requirements and to get the requisite experience and all those things. But not only that, we really like to remind folks that it's also an important self-exploration process, right? So the very first step in this cyclical lifelong process is to be looking at yourself and understanding what are my goals, what are my values, what are the things that I care about in life, right? And for a lot of you, you came in having already concluded that that being a veterinarian is the path. And we just want to encourage folks to do that self-exploration, to make sure that you continue checking in with yourself to understand why that is the thing that you're so motivated to do, because it is a challenging path and we want to make sure that you are doing it for the right reasons. And so we really want to help you think about the reflection that goes into that, and then help you think at every step of that process what you can be doing in terms of finding experience, how to put your materials together in terms of resumes and cover letters, how to prepare yourself for interviews. All of those things are things that we're excited to help you figure out. So we did want to share a little bit about the services that we provide at ICC. We have a number of services that have not changed since we've moved into this remote environment. They've just moved online. We've got drop-in advising every day, Monday through Friday from 11 to 3, where we have peer advisors available to meet with you to just have a quick kind of 10 to 15 minute advising session to help get you started. You can also schedule a 30-minute advising appointment with a career advisor for some more in-depth questions. You should also sign up for the ICC email newsletter in order to be able to get weekly updates on relevant opportunities, relevant events, and ways to get involved and get experience on campus and off campus. And then we've also, as we've made the transition to this remote environment, we've added a variety of services, including a large catalog of video material on our YouTube channel. These are 3 to 5 minute quick tips for things like resumes, interviews, networking, all of those sorts of skills. As well as we've converted several of our core workshops, things like resume basics, cover letter basics, interview basics, into a video format, which is also available on our YouTube channel. And we have moved our career fairs, internship and career fairs, to an online format as well. Actually, starting next week, next Wednesday and Thursday, we have our first virtual career fairs of the year. The one on Thursday is specifically a STEM focus. So if you're deciding, you only have time to maybe go to one next week, then that would be the one to check out. And all of those things, many of those things, can be accessed via Handshake, which is our platform for all career-related events and services. It's where you would find job postings, internship postings. It's where you would schedule an appointment with a career advisor. It's where you would find out about things like virtual career fairs. They have both a web interface and a mobile app. So I encourage you to go ahead and download the app right now. Those are actual screenshots right there of what it looks like when you look for job postings and internship postings within the app there. I actually took that straight off of my phone, so I promise it's real. And, again, it's going to have a calendar of events. It's going to have information about our career fairs. It's going to have the place where you can connect with alumni, people who have similar interests, experiences, and majors as you, so that you can get advice about how to make introductions to professionals, how to get your foot in the door with some of these opportunities. And then, of course, it's where you would go to schedule advising appointments with the ICC. And so, again, I just want to emphasize, we're really excited to help you with this process, and we are available, Monday through Friday. We're always happy to help. And actually, Manisha, if you don't mind going back to the slide with our contact info on it, I'm sorry to backtrack, but I just wanted to make sure folks, there's my email address and Lynn's email address, and you can email us directly. You can also, visit our website, which has a ton of great resources, and you can find how to schedule an appointment with us via Handshake. So thanks very much. That's my 5 minutes.
Thank you, Spencer. And so up next, we have two of our pre-vet student groups. Just to quickly tell you a little bit about your groups. So Vet Aid Club.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Shay. I'm a 4th year animal science student and president of Vet Aid Club. I am really excited to share a little bit more about our club with you guys tonight. So the Vet Aid Club aims to provide pre-veterinary students with practical hands-on experiences in a variety of animal care fields, as well as connect pre-vet students with valuable internship and networking opportunities that allow them to be competitive. Some of our club highlights are listed here on the slide. So although they are temporarily suspended for fall quarter due to COVID-19, the VAC partners with UC Davis Veterinary Medicine Teaching Hospital to provide over 60 small and large animal internships every quarter. We also hold club meetings every other week where members can hear from various presenters such as vet school representatives, vet students, nonprofit animal shelter and foster organizations. And we've also hosted GRE VIMCAS application workshops and future clinics. If you go to the next slide, please. Listed here is all of our contact information. You can learn more about our club by visiting our website. It's the first link right there, and subscribing to our email list. That's a really great way to stay up to date with all of our club updates and events. We are also on Facebook and Instagram. There's our Facebook username and our Instagram username and our Facebook group name. Those platforms are really great to connect with other pre-veterinary students and other club members. If you'd like to join the Vet Aid Club, please fill out the membership application. It's a Google form that can be found on our website. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to us via email or drop by our virtual office hours, which are also listed on our website. I look forward to seeing you guys. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Shay. And then up next we have Trisha with PSSD.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Trisha. I'm a 4th year animal science student, and I'm the president of Pre-Vet Student Support and Diversity this year. I'm very happy and honored to be here with all of you and our amazing panel tonight. And first of all, I want to say thank you, Manisha and HPA, for inviting me to talk about a club that means so much to me. Our club is here to help and provide you all with resources that will help you get into vet school. If we do go back to campus, we will take you on field trips, provide vet skill workshops, where vet students will teach you how to suture, restrain animals, or place a catheter in. We also take you on tours of the UC Davis Vet School. Right now, all of our meetings and events will be on Zoom. So please let me know if you have any interest in coming to our meetings, and I can provide you with the Zoom links and passwords. We have guest speakers at our meetings like veterinarians, admission reps from vet schools, and anyone in a animal-related career. And we still have our vet school mentorship program available to you guys, where we pair you up with UC Davis vet students, and they'll give you advice on how to get vet experiences, preparing for the GRE, interview tips, and really everything you need help with, they will be there for you. And we are also starting a new high school mentor, it's like a mentorship and outreach program. And we will be providing mentorship to students who want to be vets one day and helping them transition into college and giving them advice on anything they need. So we are very excited to see how it goes this year and for you guys to participate in this outreach program. And please follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And if you need help with anything or assistance with really anything you need, reach out to me or my officers. We love to help you guys, and you can find our contact information on our website. Our emails are on there. And once again, thank you so much for inviting us, and thank you to everyone on the panel for all of your advice and help. And please use HPA. Brielle and Manisha are my guardian angels. They're my queens. They have helped me a lot during my time here, so I definitely recommend using them for anything you guys need.
Thank you so much, Trisha. So up next, we're going to hear from Ashley with Global Learning Hub.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Ashley Arvanites, and I am a study abroad program coordinator and advisor at the UC Davis Global Learning Hub. And so today, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what our office does and what sort of support you can receive from the hub. So at UC Davis, we recognize that the world is becoming more and more interconnected and the job market is becoming more global. And so we are very committed to preparing and the change makers and problem solvers of tomorrow. So the Global Learning Hub is an office on campus. It's a physical space located in the International Center, but right now everything, as you would imagine, is virtual. And so our goal is to make sure that every graduating UC Davis student, whether it be undergraduate, graduate, or professional school, have some sort of global experience by the time they finish their degree. So for some of you, this might look like studying abroad. Others of you, it might be interning abroad, or it could look something even more on a domestic level, whether that be mentoring and incoming international students on campus or globally focused clubs. So global learning looks unique for all students, and it can take place anywhere. It can be, you know, regionally, locally, virtually, or internationally. All right, let's go to the next slide. So if you guys are up for it, I would love to hear from you, from your perspective, thinking about pre-vet, what's the importance of global learning? So if you want to go ahead and drop something in the chat, that would be a way for us to be able to share that with each other. So why is global learning important? All right, so Manisha, if you would click to the next one really quickly. So let's talk about, great, thank you, Sarah. So it says communicating with people from many different backgrounds, right? Being able to work with a lot of different people, diverse communities, understanding different perspectives. Wonderful, these are all really great examples. So it's important in all of our global careers moving forward to have a really good sense of global awareness, identity, community, and ethics in any field, but especially if we're looking at, you know, serving populations of student animals and those livelihoods. So also looking to foster global connections and engage diverse perspectives, as many of you have already mentioned, taking global action and preparing ourselves to address the global challenges that we're facing with everything from climate change to inequality. And then really cultivating those intercultural skills that are important for a global workforce. So this slide here, I just wanted to highlight a couple of pre-vet opportunities that are specific to this audience. So we do have 3 different animal and veterinary science summer abroad internships, and they take place in 3 different locations, and they all have a little bit of a different focus. One of them is in Australia, and it's a wildlife conservation and veterinary medicine program. Another one that's new this year is in Belize, and that's animal science in the tropics. And then the final summer abroad internship that we have for animal and vet science is in Thailand, and that's again a wildlife conservation and veterinary medicine. There are a couple of programs that aren't specific to vet science, but that will also are generally part of the path that students take towards, you know, getting their degree at Davis and moving on to vet school. So Biz 2A, that's an intro bio class that some of you that are incoming freshmen might be already enrolled in. And so Biz 2A and Biz 2B are offered in a much smaller cohort setting. Those both are offered in Ireland. And so you take them in the summer, you earn 8 units in 4 weeks. You have a max of 40 students in your class compared to the 400 or 500 that you would have here on campus. Another really popular program for our pre-vet or animal science student is our UC EAP Summer Physics Program. So UC EAP stands for the University of California Education Abroad Program. So that's open to any UC student. And it's a summer physics program where you can finish an entire year of physics, the entire physics 7 or 9 series in 8 weeks. And there's 13 different locations around the globe. So that's a really popular program that I recommend you start looking into if you're interested in getting that physics out of the way for one of your years. If you're interested in doing a little bit of service learning and community-based research or internships, we do have the Blum Center, which has fellowships, and those are grants that you can get to take with you to do individual research projects. Some on-campus examples, as I mentioned briefly, was our Global Ambassador Mentorship. And so that's for students that are UC Davis students to be able to mentor incoming first year and transfer international students on campus and help them build that community. If that's something you're interested in, the application process for that is usually taking place in the spring. And our website also includes a variety of different leadership and events competitions, all sorts of things from certificate series, and then anything from like group-based projects where you're working across, you know, borders and different things like that. So there's a ton of different opportunities. If we go to the next slide, there is also some really great resources related to funding and scholarship and finances and financial aid. So financial aid is available for all of our study and interning abroad programs. And there are scholarships that are available that are specific to certain locations or certain durations. So my biggest thing when we're talking about scholarships is to make sure that you're looking for those scholarships far in advance, right? The same time you're exploring programs, I recommend that you look for funding. The earlier you start looking, the sooner you can find more funding for those. And we do have a new scholarship search tool on our website that will allow you to filter through the type of program, where you're going, what the duration is, and see what kind of funding is available for you. All right. And some next slides, really start thinking about defining your interests. What are some expectations? What are you hoping to do? We have a search tool on our website similar to that funding search that allows you to filter through you know, when do you want to go? Where do you want to go? What subject area do you want to study? And so you can see a full list of programs that are offered through our office, through UC EAP, as well as a number of other opportunities, whether they be domestic or in the community and things like that. So come and connect with us, the Global Learning Advisors. We do have drop-in advising hours Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So you can come and join us there. We do also have an upcoming Global Learning Showcase, and that's going to take place the last week of October. And so this is really a holistic view, everything from understanding global learning, identity, skills, and leadership on the first day. The second day, we're going to be talking about internships, research, and community engagement. And then Wednesday is the study abroad day if you're interested in studying abroad. And Thursday is a UC EAP open house. So if you go to our website, you can see on the events page and learn how to register. And then this last slide just tells you how to get in contact with us. So the website is globallearning.ucdavis.edu. Looks like it got a little bit squished here. But if you just Google UC Davis Global Learning, you'll be able to find our website. And then I'm going to hand it back to Manisha, but I will be sticking around for the Q&A section as well.
Ashley, before you disappear, there was a question. Will the programs be going on this summer, the physics or any other program?
That is a great question. So at this point, we are planning to move forward with the summer programs. We aren't going to be offering any programs in the spring quarter, which we traditionally do through UC Davis, but we are planning as we're moving ahead with summer programs. That being said, we're constantly monitoring the situation in all the locations of our programs, and we're using guidance not only from our office, the management, UC Davis, the Office of the President, the CDC, the State Department, to determine if programs are safe and feasible to run. But we have gotten some green lights and some things to move forward with it. I do want to also mention that if you are interested in our programs, if for some reason the program that you've signed up for has to be canceled due to COVID or safety concerns and our office cancels it, any deposits or any fees that you've paid will be fully refunded to you.
Great, thank you so much, Ashley.
Thanks.
So coming up next, we wanted you to have an opportunity to hear from various major advisors around campus about the different animal or common majors pre-vet students can take. Now, you can be any major and pursue vet school, but we did want you to hear from various major advisors, just sharing some animal-related majors. So we're going to jump into Emma.
Wrong slide.
Emma or Kevin, animal science?
Manisha.
Wait, sorry, let me back up. Okay. I'm managing too many screens, I apologize.
Sorry, having technical difficulties. So, hi everyone, my name is Emma Martinez and my two colleagues are here, Catherine Livingston and Caitlin Worley, along with Janelle Paff. And so I'm here to talk a bit about the animal science major. This major, you can read the descriptions on there, but essentially we focus on understanding the biological function behind domestic and captive animals. So students will start off with a strong foundation in the sciences, chemistry, biology, calculus, and then as juniors and seniors, they'll develop a specialization, so an area of interest. There are some examples on the screen there, and you'll do that alongside your faculty advisor. So every student will be assigned a faculty advisor. And that's kind of where you really get to tailor your degree. In addition to that, you'll have core upper division courses like biochemistry, animal genetics and breeding, and animal physiology. If you're looking for a fun class to take and maybe you don't want to be an animal science major, but just want to kind of explore around with what we offer, our facilities that are under our department have courses called Animal Science 49s. They're 2-unit pass no pass, 1 hour a week discussion followed by 3 hours working at the facility. So if you've never worked with pigs or sheep or goat, it's an awesome way to get involved. Currently they are canceled, but our intention is to teach them as soon as things do get back to more of a stable state.
Thank you, Emma. And then animal biology.
Hi, I'm Elvira and I'm the animal biology advisor. Our major is a research-based major where our students, animal biology offers students training in the biological and natural sciences when it's related to animals. The unique thing about our major is that a lot of our core classes are prerequisites to vet school. And of course, you get all your prerequisites and a full year of everything that you need, including physics. The other thing very unique about our major is that you, in your junior year, you develop a research project, you work under a mentorship, a faculty member, and it can be a faculty member anywhere on campus, in any department, at the vet school, at the primate center, in the private industry, and lots of other places, which is very unique. So you really get that one-on-one with a faculty member as your mentor, with graduate students, with visiting scholars, with other staff, researchers. And you do that in your junior year. You take a class that Dr. Kimsey, who is a forensic entomologist and our master advisor, teaches, and he prepares you how to do all of that, where you'll submit a proposal for the proposed project that you will do in your senior year. The unique thing about this is that in your senior year, you truly get to mold the major into a field of emphasis that you're interested in. So we don't have something that you have to choose from. It really depends on what your interest is. And then we help you find a mentor that you can actually do research within that area. Along with that, you take 25 units of what we call restricted elective, specialization courses in the field that you're interested in. So it's directly related to your research. So when you graduate, you actually have an emphasized field. You've done research already. Potentially you've had an opportunity to present at conferences around the country. And then also at our undergraduate research conference in the spring quarter. And at the end, when you write your paper, you have a really good chance of being published. We have several students being published during the year that they're graduated and even after graduation. So, and the best thing is this is a perfect major for vet school because you take care of a lot of the prerequisites, you get research experience, and so much more out of it.
Thank you, Elvira. Entomology?
I'm filling in for entomology also. So let me go with that one next. Entomology is it's a really good major. You don't have to everybody says, oh, I don't like bugs. I don't want to do anything with bugs, but you don't have to like bugs to be in entomology. Entomology is a very highly sought out, the students are highly sought out with bachelor's degrees because it's a very unique field. Not everybody can tell you about bugs, and they go into industry everywhere, whether it's agricultural, medical, and every forms of government and military. So they have a very unique background. We have a small cohort of entomology students, so they really get a lot of one-on-one with our faculty, which is really great to be able to work with faculty, and they can walk into faculty's offices and labs and ask them questions. So it's a really good program. The other thing, if you're not interested just in the entomology major, we have some great minors and that are very popular. We have an insect biology one. We have an agricultural pest management. We have a forensic entomology, an insect ecology, veterinary, medical entomology one, and then a nematology course. Our master advisor teaches a really good class of parasitology and a forensic entomology class. Plus we have a medical entomology class also. Students in this major have gone to many different avenues of careers, including vet school.
Thank you. WFC? Anybody here for that? Elvira, is this you again?
No, not me.
All right, I don't hear anybody from there. So WFC is another animal related major on campus. You could read a little bit about it. I apologize that the advisor was unable to show. Sophie?
Hi, I'm here. Thanks, Manisha. Thanks so much for having me here tonight. So I'm actually going to be giving a brief overview about the College of Biological Sciences majors, as well as specifically the advising resources that I feel like other colleges on campus can also relate to, and the importance of advising for students, especially working towards their career goals in the future, especially with vet medicine. So just a brief overview. On the top left-hand corner, as you can see there, the College of Biosci houses 9 majors in our college and 7 minors. They're all listed there. They're kind of small. But we do have 9 majors, and I really appreciate, Manisha, you mentioning earlier that you really can go into veterinary medicine with any major. So with the College of Biological Sciences, these are just a few that maybe the majors that you might not think that might allow you to go into vet medicine, but I would encourage all of you, if you can, interested CBS students going into vet medicine, to work with health professions advisors to make sure that you're meeting a lot of the vet school requirements, as well as your CBS major requirements. Some fun facts about being a student in the College of Biological Sciences is that we do have 2 years where the students are taking all of the same preparatory coursework. So you can't really see it so well on the screen on the bottom left-hand corner, but all of our students have to do 1 year of biological sciences, 1 year of general chemistry, calculus, 1 year of physics, and organic chemistry. So as the slides that were presented earlier, a lot of these courses that you'd have to take for vet medicine are a part of the CBS majors. Another neat thing about being a CBS student, I would say, is that students can really switch between one CBS major to another, just because the first 2 years are so similar that you're not accumulating too much units to be able to switch your major. I would say in my experience of being an advisor within the College of Biological Sciences is the more popular major in terms of students applying to vet medicine, but I would imagine the broad variety that we have here, students would still be successful in applying to these programs. One thing I did want to emphasize, the importance of academic advising, so I'm glad I've heard it many times throughout this presentation. Please work with your academic advisor to make sure that you're meeting graduation requirements for your major. If you're a student in the College of Biological Sciences, we have our own advising hub called the Biology Academic Success Center. We're basically a one-stop shop to help support students in making sure that they meet all of their graduation requirements, including university, specific majors, and things like that. A lot of our students right now are meeting with us virtually, so we do have opportunities for students to book virtual 30-minute Zoom or phone appointments online through our BASC website. We are also offering drop-in advising every Tuesday mornings between 9 and 12, and every Wednesdays afternoon between 1 and 4 p.m. So you could just drop in and ask quick questions to one of our amazing advisors. Our department also offers peer advisors. So a lot of our upperclassmen students are advising students regarding courses that most of you, if you're incoming freshman students, that will be taking the next few years. So definitely reach out to a peer advisor if you would like to have that mentorship support. A lot of our students are also connected with faculty master advisors. There's one faculty assigned to each of our majors, and they are basically the specialists of the major. So if you have questions about internships, research opportunities, lab experience, a lot of our faculty have their own labs on campus. They're definitely the go-to folks to ask those types of questions too. And a lot of the students that I have actually worked with animals, and they're getting those experiences to count towards their major requirements. So if you just let us know what you want to have counted for your degree requirements, it definitely is doable as long as those experiences are applicable to your major. Definitely reach out to us if you have any questions. There's many different ways to stay connected to your peers as well. We do have a club called Bio Boosters Club, which is the main CBS club. You should be getting some emails if you are currently a CBS student about those meeting times throughout the semester, throughout the quarter, sorry, through your UC Davis email. And there's also a few major specific clubs as well. If you have any questions about your major requirements within CBS, are curious about CBS majors, you definitely can reach out to a BASC advisor through our website. So our website is basc.biology.ucdavis.edu, or you're more than welcome to email our advising office at cbsundergrads@ucdavis.edu, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have about their courses and your majors.
Thank you so much. And so we have over 100 majors here at UC Davis and quite a few minors as well. So I just wanted to take an opportunity for you to hear from some of our science-related majors, our animal-related majors. Joanne, I'm going to hand it back to you.
All right. Well, I mentioned the pre-health conference not too long ago when I was talking, and I again just want to stress that this is something that you all should be attending. I am going to open up the floor to questions and answers and see if there's anything that we did not get answered for you tonight. So I see that we answered over 211 questions. So great job, everybody, asking so many questions. And great job to everyone here tonight, all the professionals who helped answer those questions. So I want to, last chance, any questions out there? Manisha, do you think we should do the Kahoot or call it a night?
Do the Kahoot. I think that'd be a good time to quiz everyone.
Yeah, let's see what you all learned. Absolutely.
Do you have the link?
Yeah, well, do you want to unshare your screen, and I will share my screen, and then we can, let's do this. Let's see what you all learned tonight. So give me just one sec. I'm going to do a classic. This is going to be really loud. Let me turn my sound down. Hold on.
And keep posting your questions on the Q&A. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I told you. Sorry about that. All right, so if you haven't played Kahoot before, what you do is you go to kahoot.it on your phone and you type in that PIN number, 511109. Put in a fun name, something appropriate. We are in school, horse girl, that's totally appropriate. Keep it clean, and we will have a little fun. So we just have 10 short questions for you tonight. We're gonna see what you know about being pre-vet. I don't know if the School of Vet Med's here, so I can't make this joke. I was gonna say the winner gets automatic admission to the School of Vet Med. Woo! I'm just kidding. Please don't tell them I said that. That's not okay. That would be awesome though, wouldn't it? That would be the best. All right. We got 53 out of 124. Good job, everyone, getting your names in there. Ah, Sadie, that's my daughter's name. One of my daughters. Now, if anyone here is named Sylvia too, that would be crazy. I have a daughter named Sylvia and Sadie. All right, is everybody in who wants to play? Nope, still coming in. Okay. Stressed, I love it. I don't know if anyone else loves Kahoot music the way I do, but it just makes me so happy. CJ the DJ. All right. Future vet. Well, that's applicable to every single one in here, so yeah, I don't know about that. Every single one of you are going to be vets one day. Okay, I think we might have leveled off. Some of you are just gonna watch, that's okay. You can join, I think, anytime, well, if you wrote down the code. Here we go. The first vet school of medicine was founded in which country? 10 seconds. That's what you, that cat is what probably some of you feel like this first week of school. Am I wrong? I am guessing I'm not wrong. All right, so according to this really reliable source called Google, they say France is where vet school started. So now you know. That's really important. Keep that in your back pocket. CJ the DJ, you are taking lead. Let's do this. The first U.S. vet school was established in what city? And you see how those, I don't know what animals those are hugging? That's how you all should be treating each other as pre-vets here at UC Davis. You got to take care of one another. Philadelphia, yeah, which is one of the oldest cities in America, so that makes sense. They had the first vet school. All right. Oh, David, you knocked CJ the DJ down. It's okay. Y'all can come back. The first U.S. vet school was founded in what year? Oh, that one's tough. When did vet schools start in the U.S.? Oh, look at those little titty taps. They're so cute. 1852. My goodness, most of you got that right. Vet school's been around for a very long time. That's pretty long. Let's see who took over. David? Oh, David is still on top. Okay. This is not David the vet student, is it? Because that's not fair. How many vet schools are there in the U.S.? Little baby. So there is that is correct. There are 30 vet schools in the U.S. And there was a new one popping up. There was a new one that just popped up. And does anybody know what state the newest vet school is in? There's no bonus points or special prizes for getting this right. I'm just curious if any of you know. That is correct, Arizona. All right, let's see. Oh, come on, David. This is just not fair. How many vet schools are there in California? Now you've heard this answer a couple of times tonight, so this should be really easy for you. This should be 100%, but if you get it wrong, I won't judge you. But that little guy is staring you down. You should know this. Okay, there are 2 vet schools in California. I know you all thought that the 2 of you thought there was only UC Davis School of Vet Med, but there's actually a private school in SoCal called Western. And I wish there were 4. That would make my life a lot easier, but there are only 2. I'd be curious to know, for those who put 4, what the other ones are, though. Oh, I didn't see who the winner was that time. What is the name of the application you would apply to when you go to apply? Again, we told you this. Let's see if you were listening. And when you get to campus for our first years, you've got to check out the cows. They're so cute. Yes, thank you for those who were listening. Very close for the 12 that got it wrong. Very, very close. You just forgot the application service part, which is what VMCAS is. It's a centralized application. You fill out one application, it goes to all the vet schools. It's super convenient. Oh, David, yes, you have fallen off your throne and Ola has taken it over. It happens. Don't feel bad. VMCAS opens in what month? Again, I told you. Oh, look at those eyes. He's so cute. But don't get this wrong, because he will know. You should have been listening. Let's see. Very good. Most of you were listening. VMCAS opens in January. Don't know what to say. Not February, March, or April. So when should you open up your application? January! Good job. That was overwhelming. Okay, Ola, you're still in lead. I'm proud of you. Let's see, which is not a prereq for vet school? Is that me or is that horse in the middle really judging the other horse? That's right. I am not aware of any school that requires animal psychology. So you don't have to take that. Although it sounds entertaining, it sounds fun. So if you want to take it, go ahead. But I don't think it's going to help you in terms of a prereq. Chemistry, for the person who didn't put that, you do need to take chemistry. You probably should take biochemistry for most schools, and most schools do require physics. So definitely, if you got that one wrong, definitely check your prereqs. Oh, Ola, still going strong. Okay. I'm not sure if that's Ola, or yeah, you'll have to let me know when you win. How many vet hours does the UCD School of Vet Men require to be screened? We talked about this. Do you remember? Good job. For those who put 1,200, you probably put 1,200 because we were using 1,200 as the number. As the number that the average number of students have, but what you don't need. And let's see. I'm so glad no one put 1,800. That is a very high number of vet hours. Okay, no change. I think we might have a winner, but I don't want to jinx anybody. What tests do you need for the vet schools? Look at that face. He's like, come on guys, you should know this. Don't get this wrong. Oh, and some of you got it wrong. It's okay, it's okay. We're not bad, it's okay. Okay, the VCAT doesn't exist. There's no VCAT, don't take it. If someone tries to get you to pay for a VCAT, just say no thank you. And then the MCAT, you would take that if you're going to apply to human medicine and animal medicine. Now, you might be surprised to learn that's a real thing. People sometimes can't decide if they want to treat humans or animals. And if that's true, you should take the MCAT just for funsies. It's only a 7.5-hour science test, and see how that goes. And then if that doesn't go well, you have the GRE, which is not the MCAT. So there's that. But no, you definitely don't need the MCAT for vet school. Wouldn't recommend it for funsies, by the way. And let's see who won tonight. Our third place, CJ the DJ. I like it. Holland, love the name. And first, I should not say last but not least, first is Ola. Congratulations, Ola, CJ the DJ, and Holland. We're super proud of you. Natalie and Horse Girl, you came in so close. Davis only accepts the GRE, Brandy tells us that is true. Most schools only accept the GRE, and some schools do not require anything right now, but I don't know how long that's going to last. Probably they're going to all get back to requiring the GRE. All right, I hope that was fun for you. I think that was a fun way to wrap up the night. Anything, Manisha, any questions come in that we need to address before we call it a night?
We had quite a few questions about the GRE and timing of taking it.
Okay.
Do you want to touch upon that?
Yeah, in terms of when they should take it, or okay. Well, let's work backwards. So if you apply, if we want the application submitted by summer, the GRE scores are going to take 30 days to come out. So you could take the GRE anytime within 3 to 5 years, 5 years, 3 years, long time out. If you take it and you get a score you're happy with, then it doesn't really matter when you apply within those 3 to 5 years, right? Because you could apply in May, June, July, August, you're done. You don't have to worry about the GRE. Some people like to wait until the very last minute to do things. Maybe you know someone like that. And if you do that, here's what's going to happen in the spring quarter of the year that you're going to be applying. You're going to be in a full load of upper div science coursework. Now, some of you are so new to Davis, you don't even know how bad that is yet. Some of you who've been around for a while know how overwhelming it is to take a full load of science coursework and the amount of hours that's required to do that. So you're going to be trying to do that. You're going to be building your application, following up with letter writers, coming to CHPA, getting your personal statements drafted, just finding the money to pay for VMCAS. There's just a lot there, right? You got to worry about a lot of things when you're doing your application. Now, on top of that, you're going to study for a test. That's if you wait till the last minute and try to do this all at the exact same time. So there are certainly a lot of people try to do that. And I mean, you can do that. It's none of my business if you like to do it that way. I'm telling you though, there's a different way. You don't have to do it that way. You could take it in the summer before when things aren't so hectic. You could take it when you go home. You could study all summer for the GRE, take it in August before you come back, have it there, done, ready to go. So whenever you're ready to apply, it's all ready, no stress. What do you think sounds better? Post in the chat if you're going to be the kind of person who's going to get it done early and have no stress. Just one, Taylor. All right, great. I'm really going to be excited to work with you, Taylor. Oh, yes, we got more people. Get it done. Wish I was. That's okay, Lindsay. You can change. People change all the time. Yes, get it done early. It's so much better in life if you get things done early rather than wait till the last minute. Every time you wait till the night before to write your paper and you're scrambling, do you usually feel good while you're doing that? Sometimes you can feel bad and still do really well in your paper, but trust me, the GRE and applying to vet school isn't really something you want to gamble with. It's not really something you're just like, I'm just going to see how it goes. I'm going to wait till the last minute and just play that game. This is the rest of your life. This is your career, and you're going to spend thousands of dollars to apply. So I don't think you really want to play games with this. I think you want to start early, be prepared, and do it the right way. So when should you start studying? Well, fortunately, the GRE doesn't require any courses from UC Davis. Probably the most challenging part for you is going to be taking a math test on math that you haven't taken for several years. So it's a lot of algebra. Probably Doug could talk more about this, but it's going to be math that you are not going to take at UC Davis. So your calculus isn't going to help you. Your stats isn't going to help you. If you really want to prep for the GRE, buy a book off Amazon or borrow one from a friend, take a look at the quantitative reasoning and just see what this is about. And then if you realize like, oh, wow, I don't remember any of this stuff, I'm going to have to go back and watch some YouTube or take a community college course in math or something, whatever it takes. Get a tutor, see Doug, so that you can get up to speed fast in that area. Quantitative is the section that most vet schools look at. So you don't have, I mean, you definitely want to try hard on all the sections, but you don't need to like lose sleep and stress over the verbal reasoning section or the reading section or anything like that. Let's see, when should I start studying? Do you recommend Kaplan? I don't recommend anything. I think that you can do that if you use SAT, like if you use Kaplan for SAT prep and you know for yourself that you are a person that needs a lot of help in that way, I would approach the GRE in the same type of study fashion that you approach the SAT if you, unless you took the SAT to see how it goes without studying, in which case I would not do that. But most people, like, they know if they need a lot of prep. If you're the person that needs a lot of prep, then plan for that And there are test prep companies you can purchase classes from, but they are expensive. A lot of companies will partner with clubs. They'll give away free items. Sometimes they'll raffle off things cheaper. The way to get that is by showing up at events and just being engaged with those organizations. A lot of people buy the books and start studying, take a practice test, see where your weaknesses are, and then do more practice, right? Get help when you realize you're not doing something well. Get help from professionals like Doug in our office, and he'll help coach you through some of the more challenging parts of that. But if you identify early what your weaknesses are, then you have time to supplement that. But if you wait till July of your application year to realize, man, I don't remember any of this algebra, you're kind of like stuck at that point. There's not much you can do. I think I've really beat that into the ground, haven't I? There are specifically GRE prep books. You guys might have heard this really new cool thing. Have you heard of it? It's called Amazon. They have all the GRE prep books. You can buy whatever you need there. You can also borrow from a friend, and if you're just starting, like if you're a first year and you just want to see what it's about, just borrow a book from a friend, see what it's about before you're ready to start jumping in and studying. I don't know if you really want to be, as a first year, distracting yourself from your courses right now. I think right now you probably want to focus on your classes, do really, really well in your coursework, and then maybe in the summertime or during winter break, something like that, start studying for the GRE. All right, what else?
One last question, a couple more questions. What distinguishes vet hours from animal hours?
So a vet hour is one where you are working in the presence of, under the supervision of a veterinarian. So for example, let's say you worked in a clinic and they have a vet tech that's working, and the vet comes in and you happen to cross paths with the vet. You were there for 100 hours, but you only crossed paths with that vet. You were only in the room working when the vet was working for 50 of the hours. So for that whole experience, you might have been there for 100 hours. You can count 50 of those hours towards vet experiences and 50 of those hours towards animal experiences if you know that for half of that time you weren't doing anything with the vet. Let's say for the rest of the time you were organizing the front desk, you were cleaning, you were working on helping the office with like marketing projects or whatever, any other thing you might have done. If it wasn't with the vet, if it wasn't medical, then you would count that as something else, not vet hours, even though it was the same space. And you can break up an experience like that. It's important for you to track your hours and track it in an Excel sheet and make sure you're getting the name and contact information of the people you're working with. It's not likely that the vet schools are going to go verify what you did, but just in case, like the only reason they would ever verify is if something seems a little off about it. So if they really like you as a candidate, but you're listing something and it just seems like a little questionable, then they might call a school or call the person that you listed and just verify what you put. But they certainly don't have time to call every single applicant's contact on all their experiences. That is not what they're doing with their time. But you want to make sure you're being honest and using integrity with that. It sometimes becomes obvious when people inflate things in their applications because there's only so much time undergrads have, right? Does that answer the question, Manisha?
Yes, it does.
Oh, but I will say, like, let's say you're doing research with the vet. So as long as you're in the room with the vet, I think I made that clear, it's vet hours. All right. Well, we have taken you all the way up to 9 o'clock. I don't know about you, but I am tired. So you guys all have to get back to studying. So I'm going to say goodbye for the night. I want to thank everyone who came out tonight, our School of Medicine team, all of our academic advisors, the HPA team, ICC, Study Abroad, Basque, everyone who stuck around to the very end. And of course, I want to thank all of you who stuck around to the very end too to learn all of this information. You all are obviously going to be the most successful on this journey because look at you, it's 9 o'clock at night and you're still here listening to us. So I want to congratulate you and I want to wish you all the best of luck on this journey. You're going to do great. If you need any help, please don't hesitate to reach out.
So thank you everyone for being here. Have a good evening and see you at the pre-health conference.
Yeah. All right, got them all out of there. Were you guys removing them too?
Yes, I was.
All right. So that was.
Did you have espresso, ma'am?
No, I haven't had any espresso. What are you talking about? That's just who I am. You know, I told you, I think you know this. I told you before that if I wasn't an advisor, like my second career, I want to be a stand-up comedian. I'm still not sure I don't want to be a stand-up comedian. I don't think I'm super funny, but I would like to try.
223 questions answered.
Woo! I only answered about 5, so good job, guys.
So I want to say thank you, everyone. I know that's jumped in for some of it, but first of all, I didn't know Doug and Elizabeth and Jonathan, you were going to be here, so yay!
Yeah, thank you.
I saw the question list grow and I saw bodies and I was super excited. So thank you for taking your evening. I know, Elizabeth, you've got to be on your last toenail.
Was that helpful, Jonathan, to learn so you can maybe do a little pre-vet advising?
Yeah, I've been like doing some pre-vet advising for like, I think a month now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize that you were ready for that.
Oh no, you're all good. Cause I was doing some training sessions with Tessa in the summer. I was asking.
I gotcha.
Yeah, he talked to me, Joanne. He had
Oh,
talked
it's like, yeah, no, it's fine. I just, I didn't realize, so I didn't introduce you because I didn't think you were there yet, but that's okay.
I came to hear it too.
Sorry.
So
Huh?
that's why I came to hear it too. That's why I was here the whole time.
No, I
That's awesome.
so appreciate you, you all jumping in because I was like rotating slides, trying to get panelists, regardless, some panelists didn't show up. I'm like, too many things. So I very much appreciate bodies helping in the evening.
Yeah, sorry about the beginning. I don't know why I did that.
You know what though? You said your email eats PowerPoints. Apparently not from a year ago.
I don't understand why it would put the oldest one first. Like, why would it do that?
That's very curious. You know what?
I didn't even notice it. I had it open. I stared at it and I didn't even notice it till.
Neither did I. I was looking at it. I'm like, sure, it's 2019.
Oh,
Absolutely.
you're talking about the 2019? I noticed that, but I didn't want to, like, I thought it was just a typo.
Well, no, I just opened up the wrong PowerPoint. She sent one like months ago in July that was like, here's the draft, and I searched her name and then it came up. It was the first one that came up, so I clicked on the link and I didn't.
No, Outlook has been extremely unhelpful. It's not pulling up the stuff I would be looking for from a week or two ago. It did the same thing. I was looking from an email and it pulled up like 2018's emails. I'm like,
Right.
not
You'd think
helpful.
it'd start from like newest to oldest.
It does.
It doesn't.
No,
I
it
prove
doesn't.
you wrong, Doug. I
If-
prove you wrong.
If it's
You're wrong.
possible, you might have actually at some point accidentally clicked it so it flips it. I've done that before. I don't know.
Don't blame me for this.
No,
Just
you are
let
wrong.
me blame Outlook. Why?
It's Outlook.
Why can't I just blame Outlook, Doug?
It works. I don't know.
Okay,
No.
this is the last orientation.
Oh, thank God.
Yay!
I can't talk to any more people.
Everybody.
I can't be friendly. Okay.
Doug,
I don't
you have the last departmental event. You holding the last one transfer. But I was going to share the doc anyways. We have powered through so many things.
Yeah, that was actually fun last night with the third years.
No, no. You have the transfer thing in the middle of October.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay.
Yes, out of
But
our
the third years were fun.
Yeah,
the
doing the
third
third year
years
last night was fun. I
Yeah,
ended up
they're
staying
like-
until like almost 8:30 answering questions.
Third year is always fun because they're a lot more relaxed. They're like,
Eh.
they know what's going on. They're not asking about calculus classes.
Oh.
And I tried the